Joining me now to discuss the situation is Moien Odeh. He's a human rights law attorney and PhD candidate at George Mason University. Moien, thanks for joining us on the program. Of course, it's been a week since Hamas attacked Israel. Now we're looking at this ground, air and sea operation by Israel, as they've just reported. How do you think this might change things on the ground?
Thank you, Sally. Well, at the beginning, when Israel started this war or this operation, the announced goal was to try to destroy the military branch of Hamas. But it looks like after a week now, it's clear that there's a different goal for the Israeli government, and it's to transfer as many and to evacuate as many Palestinians from Gaza to other places. It's as your reporter was saying, it's a new Nakba for many Palestinians. They are seeing now, after 75 or more than this years since 48, they're seeing this again. It's a very unaccepted for many Palestinians, and many Palestinians are ready to stay in their houses and their homes and to prefer to die, not only because they want to die, because they don't have any other option. Like they knew that, they already know that moving to other places is not an option, and even moving to southern Gaza is not an option. Gaza is one of the most crowded areas in the whole world. So it's not clear until now what is really Israel want to do, but it's clear that there was an old plan and they're using it now because they feel that they have enough support and enough sympathy in the West to do this.
So in this last few days, or this last week since the attack happened, things have exploded very quickly. People en masse are trying to leave the country. Where can they go? What can they do? And what can the UN do? What can international bodies do to try and help this?
Well, it's impossible to leave Gaza, as you could see. There's no way, no way. Like even before this war, there was no place for Gazans to go. So now it's much more harder for them to go anywhere. The only place now is to move from one house to another house, hoping that the next house will not be bombed. This is the only place to go. The UN already announced that it's impossible, as you said, to evacuate the people from northern Gaza to western Gaza. To southern Gaza, but there's no place for them to go. What Israel is doing now is really something reaching like a war crime. It's using what happened, unfortunately, on Saturday with all the tragedy that had happened for many Israeli civilians to do a biggest tragedy for the Palestinians now. They are trying to target civilians as much as possible. Maybe the plan is to push them to raise against Hamas, which will not happen, I believe. But again, there's no place, literally, there's no place for the Gazans to go.
On a micro scale, or even a macro scale, it doesn't seem like it can get any worse. Violence has now spread to the West Bank. Do you think that the IDF is likely to expand operations there too? And do you think that at this point Hezbollah may be more deeply involved? And then on a further, more macro scale, is there a potential for this conflict to widen out into the region with even players like Iran getting involved in the conflict?
Unfortunately, there's no level how deep this or how down this conflict will escalate. I don't think they will do, the Israeli military will do anything in the West Bank now, but for Hezbollah and Iran, I think Hezbollah is waiting for a decision from Iran, and it will be the Iranian decision for Hezbollah to engage in this conflict or not. Until now, it's not clear to which level they will do it. It's clear that they are Iran seeing Hamas as an asset, a big asset, but when they will intervene, it's not clear. I was reading today that the Iranian foreign minister already met with the United Nations officials, and they transferred a message to the Israelis that any ground attack on Gaza could lead to an Iranian intervention in this, and this could lead actually not only to a regional conflict, that could lead also to, hopefully not, to a global even more.
Secretary of State Antony Blinken is on a 7-country tour. He's attempting to de-escalate the situation by talking to Arab leaders. But US President Joe Biden has, shared his unwavering support for Israel. Do you think the US has fueled the tensions and made things harder to resolve the situation on the ground, especially for the people of Gaza?
I think yes. Of course, the unprecedented support for the Israeli movements and for the Israeli attacks now in Gaza gave Benjamin Netanyahu, the Israeli Prime Minister, the feeling that he can do much more than he was planning to do, maybe. So the Americans' support was like a key here. From the other side, as you said, Blinken is traveling around trying to de-escalate this. Until now, it's not clear to which level the American support will go. Will it continue as it is, or will it go down? Because it's clear that the only thing that will prevent Israel from going more in this operation will be that the Americans will say enough until here and to go to the negotiation table.
Saudi Arabia seemed to be, the closest option to a two-state solution. That was, of course, before the attack took place last Saturday. Now it's put this deal on the back burner. Do you think that this was part of the Hamas plan, that in attacking Israel, they wanted to try and stop Saudi Arabia and Israel becoming closer?
Well, there's a lot of thoughts here. I don't think this was a real plan, because at the end of the day, Hamas and many other movements knows that it doesn't matter what kind of deal will happen between Israel and the Arabian government. This will not really affect how the people of these countries will feeling towards Israel and toward the Palestinians, because without having a fair and a just solution for the Palestinians, doesn't matter how many deals and how many peace agreements Israel will have with the Gulf, with other Arab nation governments. So at the end of the day, I don't believe this was the key reason, but maybe it was, but I don't think it was like a major reason for them to do this.
Now, it's hard to imagine how long this conflict will go on for and how bad it would get beyond than what we see now. With so many people fleeing Gaza with nowhere to go, history repeating itself in many senses. When the dust settles, so to speak, for want of a better term, in Gaza and surrounds, what do you imagine is left for the people that have left their homes?
Well, it will depend on what will really happen to the Gazans people until this will happen, because if Israel really decided to go and to destroy all of northern Gaza, so that will really destroy the people's life and will leave them with nothing to do. But at the end of the day, as you said, it doesn't matter how long this war will take. At the end of the day, both sides need to go and sit down and talk to each other directly or indirectly. So we should do it sooner than later and try to save as much as civilians and innocent lives from both sides as possible. But when this will happen, I'm afraid that it will take some time until this really will stop.
Do you believe that this could be a genocide of the Palestinian people?
It will be close to the. I cannot give a full definition as it is a genocide, but it's very close to be there, and I think many human rights and international law experts will say it is a genocide.
All right, Moien, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much for your insight. Moien Odeh.